Hello, my name is Sydney Zoki. This is the video for the third assignment in Chapter 8, the final assignment for financial decision making, which is very exciting. I'm in a cafe and the lights are flickering and it's fine. I will be using some notes that I have taken on this subject, and I will be giving references at the end of this video as to where I got those notes from. So first, I want to address what I will be talking about, and we will be looking at nonprofit and for-profit funding and comparing and contrasting the two sources of funding with each other, and then how those two sources of funding are similar and different from each other, and when and how they should be used. So when it comes to for-profit funding, there is both long-term and short-term financing for funding of those. So it could be money that you have raised for a for-profit, or it could be money that you borrow. And when we borrow money in the for-profit world, we're looking at short-term or long-term, and we're looking at things like loans, we're looking at things like common stock and bonds when people buy into those companies, but then with all of those things, you owe the money back. So you're taking money up front in order for when you are making a profit to pay it back later. So that's what it looks like with for-profit, and with a nonprofit, we have funding like individual donors, foundations, corporate giving, bequests, all these things where money is being given or services are being given for free out of generosity. Rather than out of the obligation of and the expectation of that money being returned back later. So with nonprofits, it's not a debt; it's it's funding through giving, and the stipulation that comes with that is the fact that all of the money that is given has to be used for the purpose of the nonprofit, whereas the money that is loaned or given for the funding of a for-profit company can be used for whatever the owner or the person managing the finances wants. So they are solely responsible for the money. They are also solely responsible for returning the money. With a nonprofit, they are responsible for the money being used for the purpose of the nonprofit and not used for payment or kept as profit or anything like that. It shouldn't be. It has to go back into what the nonprofit is for. So they are similar in the fact that they both allow the business to run. If without these sources of funding, the business wouldn't be allowed to run, and therefore, the business wouldn't function. There wouldn't be any opportunity for the business to earn any profit. It wouldn't be any opportunity for like the nonprofit to help people or change the environment or whatever it is meant for. So these are different, and a funding for a nonprofit should only be used when the company or organization is nonprofit and when all of the funds need to go back into the company. And on the other hand, for-profit funding can be used in many different contexts for any for-profit organization. A nonprofit could technically even use a for-profit company's fundraising techniques, but it can't be vice versa. If a donation is given to a for-profit, it can be used for whatever, with the understanding that it won't be returned. A real-world example of this would be like the starting of a coffee shop that is a for-profit business. You take out a loan that would be in the long-term capital market, where you are paying interest on a loan until you return that money. And then for a for-profit or a nonprofit, you have a foundation or an individual donor, like say Bill Gates, giving money, and all of that money needs to go back into the purpose of the running the foundation. So that is it for this. I have used the Lumen Learning source, and then the NPS.gov partnerships, so the Chronicle of Philanthropy, and then also the textbook, Financial Management Principles and Applications, in order to create this video. Thank you so much, and it's been a great class. Thanks.